not showing the camera. I'll have Mike look at it on Saturday. Hello and welcome to Derp Derp and Friends Reviews. I'm Derp Derp.
I am Ski Nerd.
And before we start, remember to like, subscribe, comment. Help us get toward our first like goal of 1,000 likes to watch one season of One Piece. We're at 739 likes currently, as of
Wait,
an hour ago when I counted.
Can they not see us then? Or we just can't see it? We
No,
just can't see us.
They can't see us.
They can see us.
Can't.
Oh, but it was working earlier. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stupid, dumb technology. You know what you should do? You should fix it with a hammer.
1,000 likes to watch first season One Piece. 1,000 comments to watch one season of Detective Conan. We're at 739 likes as of an hour ago.
Wow. So many likes. Maybe we should just hold off on it for a little while, eh? Hold off on them likes. It's not like I want to review One Piece or anything.
Just because of that, I better see 1,000 likes on this video.
Gross. No. No. Anyways.
Now I know that quite a few people out there want to see this guy suffer.
I know at least one person. Oh, I don't know where that came from. That was a yawn. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. That came out of nowhere. But yeah, how about, I mean, we can get 999 likes, but then after that, no, we don't need anymore. We'll just review our own stuff.
Once again,
So
like and comment. Let's get on to the video.
Alright, well, we are on episodes
9.
9 and 10. So on episode 9...
Which is titled The Other Dick.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's what it was called.
Because it has to do with another private investigator.
Yep.
Which their nickname, cop nicknames for them are dicks.
Yep. Because they're assholes. But, no. Because they're dicks. Dicks fuck assholes. That's right. Thank you, Matt Damon. Now I know things. Anyways, at the beginning of this episode, Dresden is taking a test. Like in school. But he's not in school. He's in a PI school. And the only reason he's taking this test is because the police department won't have him be a correspondent unless he gets his PI license. So he's taking this test, and the teacher, Mr. Brennan. Look, it's my main man Brennan. He asked, hey, if anyone can get this next question right, you get an automatic A. And he says, what's the golden rule? And absolutely nobody raises their hand. Except for our protagonist, Mr. Harry Dresden, who says, keep your mouth shut? And that was the right answer. So he gets an automatic A. And how does he get rewarded? Unplug it. Alright, go ahead and unplug it, replug it back in. We have some technical difficulties with our camera. And maybe this will fix the camera issue. Anyways, Harry gets rewarded not only with an A, but with murder. As when he goes to talk to Mr. Brennan, he an old bottle of liquor, opened of course, and he goes to you know shake him, and Harry gets electrocuted, and he's like, oh, and this lady who was the assistant teacher comes in and she's like, oh my god, you killed Mr. Brennan. Oh, she pulls a gun out on him, and at this point in the show, I was like, I recognize that lady. Where is she from? Well, I looked it up, and she was on Stargate SG-1. She was, I forget her name in the show, but she was the person that would always she was like a rogue basically. She would go around and steal stuff just for fun, just around the universe. So that was neat to see. Um, and her name was Miss Valentine. Oh, sorry, Miss Fontaine, not Miss Valentine. That was last week. or Valerie Cruz. Oh no, that's not it. Claudia Black. That's it. Liz Fontaine. And yes, she was in Stargate SG-1, especially the last two seasons. So Miss Fontaine.
She's also in the Uncharted games. Yeah, Chloe.
Oh, that is her.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. Thought I recognized that voice.
As soon as you said the name, I knew I recognized her from something.
Okay.
And Mass Effect.
And so Miss Fontaine, during the exam, of course, or during the class, wanted was about to kick Harry out because he didn't have any money, and this was before the murder, which I forgot to mention. But she kicks him out for not having enough money, and he goes.
And you
Harry goes.
also forgot to mention that as before Fontaine came in, Harry tried touching Brennan's body and got shocked.
No, I mentioned that.
Uh,
I went. This
I was distracted
Yeah.
by trying to figure out the actress's name for you.
Yep. That's okay. So she kicked him out of the class for having no money. So Harry goes to Murphy. He's like, "Hey, can I have $500?" She's like, "No, I don't have $500. Can I have 250?" Okay, 250 works. So that's when he goes back to Mr. Brennan's office to turn in the money, and he's dead. And she pulls out a gun on him, and or Miss Fontaine. I thought it was with a V, Fontaine. Oh, boy, was I way off. Miss Fontaine, and she blames Harry for killing Mr. Brennan. And we learned that Mr. Fontaine had some kind of writing by his desk, and it was kind of a cipher of something. And so Harry went back to Bob, and he's like, "Hey, we gotta decipher this." And Bob couldn't decipher it even because it was in his own special language, or in Brennan's old and special language. Um, and then Harry has a spell where he breathes fire onto the message, and it comes somehow deciphers it. And they get in the message, it mentions Ronald Jones, and it mentions where this person is, where this person works at. So they go and visit Mr. Ronald Jones in his office, And Mr. Ronald Jones is like, oh, I don't know who this is. And then this is when Harry and Miss Fontaine kind of meet up outside the office, and they're both interrogating him at the same time. And they each want to take the lead, but Harry eventually does, um, because he has more experience with this. And he gets Ronald Jones to mention his wife, and he's like, oh, is that your wife? Oh, I guess you don't. If you don't have anything to say about this, maybe I can go bother your wife. He's like, hold on, wait a minute. All right, yeah, that's my wife, and I hired Mr. Brennan as a PI, of course, to PT. Okay, god damn it. Um, those memes are really distracting. Um, did you plug it back in?
I need to turn off computer and turn it back on.
Oh, okay.
I can't do.
Then I guess we're gonna have no video, so that means I can do this, and nobody will know what I'm doing.
New meaning of MILF.
Yep. All right. So he says, all right, yeah, I hired Mr. Brennan to follow my wife because my wife uh, was going out later and later, and I suspected her of cheating on me, but I don't want you to mention that to my wife because don't want her to know. Um, and so they're um, following uh, Mrs. Jones, or Fidelity Jones, or Felicity Jones, around, and while they're doing that, they're talking, and Miss Fontaine mentions that Mr. Brennan had a booze bottle next to him when he died, but he hadn't drinking for like years and years and years, and he kept that booze bottle as a reminder to not drink again. And whoever killed him, it was they obviously did not know about that. Um, and about the wife, and then my wife is the wife is suspicious. All right, so Felicity Jones, they tail her, and as Harry is crossing the street, and she's about to Felicity Jones is walking around doing some shopping, and then she walks into a fertility clinic, and gross. What the fuck? Go no. What no gross. Okay, that was like the grossest meme ever.
There's your stupid opinions.
Yeah, well, it was really gross. Um, Harry crosses the street and he runs over a ley line, and he reacts weirdly, and they go into the and Miss Fontaine is like, Harry, what the hell are you doing? Are you coming along? He's like, yeah, yeah, I think I got this. I think you can just go on. You can just go home, and I got this. And she's like, you're not kicking me out. How would it look like if you walked into a fertility clinic yourself? I mean, you're just a guy. You need a woman. And he's like, damn it, I do. Um, so they walk into the fertility clinic, and um, they're both talking to this guy, and he's like really weird. He's like, "Oh yeah, looks like you've been having trouble for a little while," and they start like bashing each other. That's funny. Um, God damn it, these fucking memes. Okay, I'm gonna look over here so I don't get distracted by the memes. Sorry apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I am being distracted by the memes. Um, they walk into the fertility clinic, and then Harry and Miss Fontaine kind of go back and forth. Oh yeah, this my husband. Yeah, he's been shooting blanks for years and years. And the doctor asks, like, oh, how long, how many times a day do you have sex? He's like, oh, we have sex many times a day, of course, many times a day. She's like, oh, he's just exaggerating. He's been shooting blanks this whole time. And you can tell the tension between the two. So he goes off to give a quote unquote sample, and he something brings him over to this to the wrong room, and so he walks into the wrong. I forget what it was. It was like some special sense that he had to do that, and so he walks into this room and he collects a tea sample, and in the middle of the room there's this not a bed but like a chair where you lay down on, and there's this weird symbol above it, and he takes some pictures of the weird symbol, and he kind of gets caught, and he plays it off as like, oh, my bad, I walked into the wrong room, I got a little lost, I'm just here to give a quote unquote sample. And this lady in the room, she's like, oh yeah, you're in the wrong place, yeah, get the fuck out of here, I got a patient. So as he's leaving, he takes another picture of Felicity Jones on the bed, or on the, sorry, on the, what do they call that? A lay down table, like at the dentist, like a dentist chair. It's like a dentist chair. Yeah, yeah, that's it, a dentist chair. Um, anyways, so he gets a tea sample, and let's see. So he takes some pictures, and then Miss Fontaine is suspicious of Harry because he has the word wizard next to his name. So she's supposed to meet Harry at his place, and she's like, "What the hell does a wizard mean? Wizard of what? Like uh, accounting? Like what the hell are you talking about?" Um, and then someone throws a bomb through the front door, and it's about to go boom, but Harry grabs his trusty old hockey stick, and he he surrounds it with energy and it explodes. And Bob's like, "What the hell was that?" Um, but then Bob sees the picture of the symbol, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's a incubus symbol, which is the opposite of a succubus. So an incubus symbol, and he kind of puts two and two together, and he's just like, oh, that makes sense. An incubus is trying to, you know, get his hands on women. And what better place to do it than a fertility clinic? You know, desperate women who are looking to be, fertilized or whatever. And so then it's like, oh crap, it's Dr. Overland, who is the doctor, who is a fertility doctor, and Anya, who was in the tea room. They're like, oh crap, they must be running the clinic, and uh, it must be one of them that's this incubus, or was working for an incubus. My daughter is biting hair. What the fuck? Sorry, distracted by the memes again. Um, so Harry and Miss Fontaine go back to the fertility clinic, and they find Dr. Overland is dead, and Miss Fontaine is about to touch him, and Harry's like, "No, do not touch him." And he takes his hockey stick and touches the guy, and the hockey stick gets zapped with electricity, just like Harry did earlier. And he's like, "Crap! The same person who killed Mr. Brennan is the same person that killed um, Doctor Overland." And all right, so they got that, and then they saw a needle mark in this person's neck, and they're like, "That's an acupuncture needle, so it has to be Anya, the tea room lady." And they're coming down. down to it, and then Bob see looks at another picture of the exam room, and he sees, you know, he sees this like weird thing in it, and he touches it, and it starts moving, and it's this like bug-like creature, and he briefly turns into this bug-like creature for like a second, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he realizes that the this incubator
Excuse me.
or this the incubator. Oh, he realizes that the incubus is trying to breed, and this isn't good because that means they're trying to take over Felicity Jones's body, and yeah, that would be really bad. So the incubator is Felicity Jones, and the bug is a trapped spirit of an incubus. And so basically, it's an incubus's child. And this incubus baby got trapped in the photograph when it was going between the spirit world and into Felicity Jones's body, which is very interesting. And um, then they realized that, oh crap, well, who the if Dr. Overland isn't the incubus, it could only be Ronald Jones because he has a vested interest in. Um, I mean, his wife is like a 10 out of 10, and he's just like an average looking dude. And they're like, yeah, now this Ronald guy is super suspicious, super sus, bruh. And um, Miss Fontaine goes to I think it's Ronald Jones's house to look for Felicity Jones, um, to try to rescue her from either from Anya, because they think it's Anya still, or she thinks she doesn't get the new info. She thinks it's only Anya, and she sneaks in, and Ronald Jones guy mind controls her, and he tells her, "Oh, I want you to kill Harry Dresden for me. That would be nice." And then you're gonna tell the police that all these string of murders that you did it. And she's like, "Okay, I will do that." And then Harry and uh, the incubus make a deal. Like Harry's like, "Hey, you have to let Miss Fontaine go, and you have to let Felicity Jones go as well, and otherwise, I'm going to burn the picture with your baby in it." And um, Ronald Jones plans on double crossing him and starts shooting him. I think it is, and Harry deflects it with his magic because he was ready for it, and he then burns the picture, and he just kicks the crap out of Ronald Jones. And as he does this, his spirit flies back into the Never Never, I guess it is, or another dimension, wherever it's from. And so he wins. And then Miss Fontaine is now has a private investigations office, but she's a felon, so she's like, I can't get a license. And Harry's like, oh, don't worry, I know people who can get you a license. And then it's all a happy ending, and then they can have adventures from now on, and they can start making babies. All right, that was episode 9.
The one
Those
huge.
memes are really distracting. Like I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, okay, that looks funny. What was I talking about again?
One huge glaring thing wrong is incubuses don't work like that in the books.
Oh,
Yes,
they must
the tra-
impregnate.
Yes, the chances of succubus or incubus impregnating somebody is very low, but it happens like that. It doesn't happen like it does in the show. And incubuses have a demon inside them, yes. Uh, and no
Don't
mention of the white court.
don't speak to me. Speak to the camera, or the not the camera, the microphone, so they can hear you.
No mention of the white court, because incubuses are a part of the white court. No mentions of succubuses.
Oh, and if you guys don't know what the white court is, he's referring to white court vampires, which is in the books and it's not in the show. So,
The
don't.
females are succubuses, males are incubuses, and they basically feed off emotions.
They're sexual beings,
Not
like
not all of
white
them
court
feed off
vampires.
sex. Some feed off rage, some feed off greed,
Whoa.
despair.
Fear,
The most primal
emulation.
emotion that they can feed off is lust. Like the
Oh,
strongest emotion that they can feed off of.
lust. All right, episode 10. This was Derp Derp's favorite episode.
Episode that, if they went by the books, it would have never been created. There's so much things wrong with it.
Yep. All right.
It's
So this
titled
one's
"What About Bob?"
yeah. This is all about Bob. Bob is the main character in this one. So this episode has a lot of flashbacks. Uh, so it starts off with a flashback of his dad getting a new gig uh, from some cruise or whatever, and Harry's just like, "Oh, here's the new thing. Did we get the job?" He's just like, "Yeah, we got the job. We're gonna go on a cruise," and they're both celebrating. And all of a sudden, like, um, he falls over with a heart attack, and um, that's the story of his dad dying. And right before he dies of a heart attack, he's like, "Hey, Harry, have you seen your mom's ring with the it's a silver ring with a blue jewel on it?" And Harry's like, "No, I haven't seen it," and he hasn't seen it. Ooh, foreshadowing. Anyways, that's the wrong episode. Then it cuts to Harry in bed with a woman. A woman we soon find out her name is Tara, and so she sleeps with Harry, and in the middle of the night she gets up and she steals Bob, and she gets the fuck out of there, and it cuts to oh, then she puts some like spell on the door. Um, well, first of all, she tries to leave the house, and then she utters a spell, and it works. And then she puts a piece of paper on the door, which is cool. Um, and then it cuts to like Murphy talking to her partner, and there's something about a Justin Morningway cold case that just came back up. It's like a 5-year-old case, and Harry is one of the suspects. And so their next plan is to go to Harry's place and kind of question him a little bit. Um, and then we learned, I think we learned this before, but Bob is a former sorcerer. Let's see. And then basically, Harry wakes up and he notices that he's handcuffed to the bed. And he gets up and he's like, "Hey, Tara, where are you?" And he sees that Bob is missing. He's like, "No, someone stole Bob, someone stole Bob." So he goes to open the door, and the piece of paper that was left on there explodes, and he kind of goes unconscious for a little bit. And then it cuts to Tara talking with um, Harry's uncle, Justin Morningway, who's alive and well. And you're like, bruh, what? I thought he was dead. And they're talking to each other, and she mentions like, yeah, I'm here to get paid. Now pay me. Here's the skull that you wanted. And he's like, I assume you left no trace. And she was just like, well, no, I just handcuffed him to the bed. And so he's like, so you left something behind. He's like, well, I'm afraid we have to change our deal. She's like, what? You can't change the deal. He's like, oh, yes, I can. So he takes out some dust and blows it on Tara, and she basically vaporizes. Her skin just goes to bone, and she explodes in a fiery, fun light show. And the reason why he has to do this is um, because she left something behind. Harry can now use that to track her, and then can ultimately track where Bob went to, because she obviously doesn't know anything about magic. All right, so she dies, and Harry tries to um, thaumaturgy um, her handcuffs to see where her location is, but it doesn't work because she is dead. Awesome, cool. And then Murphy tells Harry of the uncle's autopsy, that they're going to dig up the body and perform an autopsy. And Harry's visibly upset because they're going. He says they're they're going to autopsy the body because of the case, but he's upset because he doesn't, and he pretends to say, "Oh, how dare you um, autopsy my dead uncle who's been dead for 5 years? It's my family. Just let him rest." Blah blah blah. Um, and then we learn that because the uncle is talking to Bob, we learn that the Justin Moriarty is just a copy intended to.
Morningway, not Moriarty.
Oh, Morningway. Justin Morningway is just a copy intended to strike back at the person who killed him, which was Harry. And he makes a deal with Bob. So he wants Bob to do black magic, and Bob was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, well, I think you will if you want to see your lost love again. And we get the whole kind of more of a backstory with Bob's lost lover. And this would be a way, like, if you perform this black magic, I will let you be mortal again. And mortal, yep. And so one of the things that he, the uncle has, is he finds bolt. I think that's a little later, so we'll skip that for now, or we'll get back to it. Let's see. So after the visit and Bob being stolen, um, Morgan confronts Harry and says, "Hey, you can't. This can't happen. You can't have let Bob fall into the wrong hands." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I know. I don't want him to fall into the wrong hands." So Bob hands him this crystal skull, and he says, "When Bob's skull is uncaged, this will light up and it'll tell you the location of where Bob's at." And that's all we see of Morgan in this episode. Then we see a flashback of uh, his Harry's uncle um, being on the High Council, and his mother backstory. So we learn that Harry's uncle is on the High Council, and he kind of asks him a little bit about his mother, about how, like, what do you know about my mother, kind of thing, and how she was like a powerful magic person, and she was great to have around and stuff like that. Then it cuts to Butters in the morgue, and so they're doing the autopsy, and then they find out that what was said before was the uncle died of a heart attack, but find out later that um, the uncle's chest was pressed in by something, and it wasn't a heart attack. So it, something killed him, obviously. Um, and then it cuts to the copycat uncle and Bob, and um, copycat uncle pulls out a bolt that pierced his lover's heart, and they go into more detail of like, hey, yeah, this is the bolt. It was very hard to acquire this item, but this bolt pierced your lover's heart, and in order to bring her back and make you mortal, I have to do something with this. So he takes the bolt and chucks it at Bob, and so some of his Bob's power goes into the bolt, I guess. And why is that cake? God, that's so gross. Anyways, um, let's see, bolts that kill Bob's lover. Yep. And then Murphy kind of has a heart to heart with Harry. Jesus Christ. Um, Sorry, folks. Just technical difficulties. We've got some memes popping up in front of my face. Um, anyways, let's make this a little bit more exciting. Yeah, I know you don't have any legs. Ha ha ha! Official asshole. Awesome. All right. So Murphy still has nightmares of the Skinwalker, and she has a heart to heart with Harry, and she's like, "Hey, I thought you said you weren't gonna say any lies to me. There's weird things going on, and now I'm taking these new pills, and they're great, and they make me feel good about myself, and they make it everything more clear, and it brings up her nightmares, but it calms her down. So so win slash loss kind of a thing. After this happens, the Skull Finder activates, and Harry immediately knows where Bob is because Bob is taken out of his cage in order to fulfill his purpose of performing black magic. And what is the black magic? Yes, you got it, folks. The black magic is to resurrect the uncle, or Justin Morningwood, or Morningway. Dingly parts. Um, and then let's see. Oh, then it cuts to Harry at the scene of the uncle's death. Oh, they notice. That's sorry. I think it's Murphy and her partner get some prints on. Okay, these are just too distracting. Harry and the. God damn it. Okay. Harry was put at the scene of the uncle's death because his fingerprint was on one of the not handcuffs. What are they? What was something? What are those things that goes around the wrists?
Zip ties?
No, no, no. It goes on a suit.
Cufflinks?
Cufflinks. There we go. his fingerprint was found on one of the cufflinks. So now Harry is definitely suspicious of the death at hand. Um, let's see. Then there is another flashback of Harry coming back from Europe, and he meets his uncle, and the uncle is about to introduce him to the High Council, and he's like, "Yeah, this is I'm going to introduce you to the High Council, and you're gonna, how was your trip to Europe? And oh man, this is going to be so cool. We're in this house, and or in this house, and then Harry notices a box in the room when the uncle leaves. And Bob goes up to him. He's like, Harry, don't look at that. Don't look into that. He's like, why not? Why can't I look into this? And um, what what makes Harry suspicious is that Harry notices when they're talking about Europe that his uncle has his mother's ring on his finger, and it flashes back to the day that his dad died. And oh, hey Harry, where's your mother's ring? I can't find it. I seem to have misplaced it. And it heavily implies that the uncle killed Harry's dad. And so Harry gets more and more pissed. Um, so Harry steals it, and he uses the ring. Um, or Harry steals a ring, and then he confronts his uncle. He's like, "Did you kill my dad? Did you kill my dad? Did you kill my dad?" And then the uncle's like, "Yes, I had to quote save him from obscure or to save Harry from obscurity, because Harry's dad, according to his uncle, was holding him back, like power wise. Like he was basically he was making you weak, and I am here to make you strong. And your mother was also like weak. She had dangerous ideas, and she had to not be around anymore. Um, but I think he keeps asking her like, "Did you kill my mom? Did you kill my mom?" But he says, "No, I didn't kill your mom. But I killed your dad. I didn't kill your mom because that was his sister." Um, oh, he was quote unquote clearing weeds. That's right. Um, and they start getting into a fight, and Harry grabs his voodoo doll that's in this box, and it's considered black magic. Um, and he uses his mom's ring to put power through it, and so he presses on this ring to um, severely reduce his uncle's ability to move and stuff like that. And there's this one scene where he's like, Harry, don't do it, don't do it. I'll leave and never come back. And turns to the uncle trying about to take this piece of wood, splintered wood, and fling it at Harry, but he gets warned by Bob at the very last second, and he gets dips out of the way, and Harry, in self-defense, presses into the ring, and he actually doesn't intentionally press into the ring, but Harry falls over with the doll in his hand, and he presses into the ring into the chest of the doll, and um, what word was I looking for? Subsequently, it presses into the chest of the uncle, and so he dies. And Bob's like, "You just used black magic to kill your uncle. The people are going to be after you." However, it was in self-defense. Um, then it cuts to the present day, and Harry finds Bob in the present day, and he's like, "Hey, Bob, you're here." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Harry." And then Bob basically sucker punches Harry, and Harry wakes up. He goes unconscious. He wakes up, and he's tied down to this table, and um, he's in. They're in the morgue by the body, by the dead uncle's body, And so they're like, all right, the copycat uncle is like, all right, Bob, do what you need to do to resurrect your old master. And so they basically use Harry's body as a power conduit to um, not rejuvenate. What's the word?
Revive.
Revive. There we go. Revive the real uncle, and the real uncle gets revived. The copycat uncle goes and takes the place in the casket, and but then Bob's like, I was like, haha, psych, it's nothing like this is gonna happen today, and uh, Bob kills the uncle for good. And it's like, oh wow, and then he's like, Harry, I can never betray you. I would never do anything like that to you. And then Murphy, and then everything's resolved, and then Murphy talks to Harry, and she gives him his photo back. Don't lie to me ever. Blah blah blah. So, all right, that's the end of that episode. I know it was kind of like hit or miss. Um, how I was going over it, and it was really confusing. But even even knowing what I know, and I don't know like everything in Dresden, I thought it was just stupid and lame. But I think Derb knows a little bit more about why it's super lame.
Let's see. Pretty much the only good thing about the episode is the Jim Butcher cameo.
Using this one too.
Yeah, I showed you the picture.
Oh, I thought he was in. I thought he was only one episode.
No, or
Oh.
this was the episode.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
it shows goes to Butters, and Jim Butcher is behind the body,
Oh. He's
just
like
staring.
staring. Got it.
But
Now I know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I.
first
Joe.
of all, if the show went by the books, this episode would have never have happened. Because in the books, or Morning Way, as he's called in the show, is DED dead. As the author said on multiple occasions. And as we said before, Justin is in no way related to Harry. Justin did not kill Harry's father. Harry's father died by normal causes, as far as we
Yeah,
know.
he died in a tuna boat accident.
No, it was still a heart attack.
Tuna boat accident and a heart attack.
But as far as we know, as a book 18, it was natural causes. The whole Harry and Dumorn incident happened when Harry's 15, not 30.
Yeah.
Because Harry goes from Dumorn then to Ebenezer McCoy, who gives him his better philosophy on magic instead of just using it to hurt people. McCoy helps him get his philosophy and decide to help people. And in the books, it also doesn't mention Harry's first love, Elaine Mallory, who tries to kill Harry. Or Justin enthralls her and tries to enthrall Harry, and when he fails, he tries to kill him with an outsider named he he who walks behind. None of that was put in the show, which would have taken a lot longer than an hour to explain.
Yeah, probably.
And as far as we know, Justin had nothing to do with Harry's mom. I know a little more than he knows, and I can't say anything because it will spoil
Yeah,
it.
that would spoil it. That would not be fun. Hey, look, you can get season one of Dress. Oh, never mind.
That uh, I lost my train. One, because in the books, because you know that you're on book 8, right? So
Yep.
you know about the white cart and that they're the cause of Harry's mom's death.
Yep.
As we mentioned with the recap of the episode before that, white cart are succubuses and incubuses. And yeah, this episode should have never happened.
But it did.
I don't want to get any more angry, so let's stop it with that.
All right. Cool. Well, I don't have anything else to add.
So that was our review of episodes 9 and 10. Please like, subscribe, comment. Help us towards our review, our goal of 1,000 likes, 1,000 comments. As I said at the beginning of the episode, we're about 730 something likes. Next week we're gonna watch, or first we're gonna watch Spaceman on Saturday. We'll start reviewing about 9 ish.
It has Adam Sandler in it.
And then on Tuesday, or at, I don't know yet what day, we will do the final episode, of the final 2 of Dresden Files.
Mm-hmm. Just
And
two more episodes, and then we're done with this garbage.
then if we don't reach the 1,000 like goal by then, we'll start Tokyo Revengers,
Okay, we can do that.
which is, he's gonna be confused.
Yeah, and I get easily confused. So, especially now that I'm like writing notes and stuff like that, I feel like I'm writing too much detail. Uh, that's just my OCD, but like I'm trying to write less detail, but it's hard to remember exactly what happens too, which is fine, I guess.
With that, we're gonna start. I'm gonna also write notes, but in a different way than what I did for GTO. I'm gonna mainly do, because there's a shitload of characters in Tokyo Revengers. I'm gonna
And
write
I'm
their
gonna
names and then put a picture of each character next to it.
and I'm gonna give them all stupid nicknames because I can't remember characters' names for crap.
Hanagaki, Draken, Mikey. Those are the only ones I can think about. Mitsuru, Chifuyo. Those are the only ones I can remember.
And I remember zero because I know all zero of them.
And those are just the ones I currently have figures of.
Well, except for Ron and Harry and Hermione and Hagrid, I know them. Severus,
Fine,
Draco.
fine. Give us 1,000 likes and we'll just review all the Harry Potter movies.
Is that worse?
Or 1,000 comments. We'll do Harry Potter and then case closed.
I don't know, but
Uh,
I think that should end it for this
yep.
video.
Remember, like, subscribe, comment, help us towards our goals. Uh, Otherwise, catch us on Saturday around 9 o'clock Central for Spaceman. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.